Peace, 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 peace. Um, peace, everyone. This is Movie Innerstandings, and I am Achi Karar, or Akilo, for those that, you know, need a little bit of help. Can't remember all that, you know. Um, so, this strong, as I told you, we doing 3% or trace percento in Portuguese. Um, and so peace, Master Menelik, and peace and Manaya. So it's just season one, right? Because I didn't want to bombard you with the whole daggone series because it's completed. But season one has so much anyway because when you deal with just season one, you know you you're just dealing with the process. You know what I'm talking about? And peace in me, Akira Eden. And so what's up, Jeremiah? Mine? Peace, bro. Already. Um, so this is just so much, and really, what you're dealing with this process. Like, I think this like coincides with Chief's podcast and what he's been talking about education because you're dealing with a process that gives a finished product, right? In a person. You know what I'm talking about? It's just so much. But let's just you can like let's just focus on like the fact that this is a dystopian worldview, right? And it tells you that it's the 104th year of the process. You know what I'm saying? You're already getting a a manufacturing feel for it. You know what I'm talking about? Um, and you see that the people get implants, chip implants in their ears, as a registration. You know what I'm saying? And an ID tag, sort of like a cow. you know, things like that. You know what I'm talking about? So, and you see that where they're at is it's called sub-equatorial Amazon, which could be anything, but you know it's still a world that really doesn't give you any geography or anything like that. But all you know is that where they're at is what's called the inland. You know what I'm talking about? And where everybody is trying to get to during this process is offshore. On this little island that's apparently 3,000 miles, offshore, from the inland. You know, Now, mind you, what's interesting is kind of weird. You don't see nobody going to it's where they're housed, or where basically the city is sort of it's in a crater. You know what I'm saying? Which can mean a lot of things. Maybe the city sunk or anything, right? But if they're like 3,000 miles away the the island and then from inland, you never see nobody go to the beach. Nobody goes to the beach. Nobody does a lot of things. Peachy, peace and Sophia Yahava. You know what I'm talking about? But I also had a question. Let's see. Man, I got questions here that I ain't. Um, so one thing you know about the process is that only 3% from 100% are actually taken to or accepted into offshore. You know what I'm saying? Only 3%. You know what I'm saying? And that's like that every year since its inception. You know what I'm saying? This, like I say, it's a lot. But you mean yeah. And so maybe it'll show up. Yeah, it'll show up now. So I mean, we meet, these young people who are newly turned 20, you know, and that's what happens. Everybody that turns 20 every year is takes part in the process, you know. And the process is a series of tests, man. It's a series of tests, which you find out. You know, uh we meet many kids in this. Fernando, Michele. Yeah, I pronounced them like idiot, Michele, Raphael, you got Joan, you know. That's just my thing, right? Um, so those are sort of like the main characters in the sense, and then you have, Ezekiel, which is Ezekiel, you know. Um, who is basically the leader of the process, or the conductor of the process, or whatever you want to call it. um but not only that, we see that, in this basically 104th process, you have basically the character of Eleni, coming into observe and investigate the process, because of the simple fact that those people that um, have been coming into the process since Ezekiel's leadership, they've had problems, issues. You know what I'm saying? Mostly mental issues and things like that. But more but they you could say um they do the you could say degenerative, but um behavior that apparently is not acceptable into the society or the culture of the 3%, right? And you know he's under the heat of having the process taken away from him. But one thing, okay, so like I told you, the process is just a series of tests, and it's just like real life. You know, I mean, you have a series of tests that we've all been taking at some point in time. One, you know, um, because you're going to see it. Like a few tests that you'll see that made me think of a few people, or made me research a few people. Like you have like Francis Galton, who's basically the founder of eugenics, and cousin to Charles Darwin, and he came up with all these series of tests to uh, basically come up with like success, and things are based on genealogy, and things like that, and then he would, um, uh, measure or look at people's head size or muscle mass and body type and things like that. And it goes more deep into it. But he's founder of eugenics. But by the time the actual eugenics program actually had that first meeting, he was already dead. You know what I'm talking about? And then things like that. But you find out, even the process has a eugenics program. It's also a eugenics program at the same time. Because part of eugenics is at least for some countries and for some states, who practiced or had eugenics type laws, for sterilization. You know what I'm talking about? And you see that in 3%. You know what I'm talking about? Apparently, which was interesting. Yeah. But he had to take it, he had to take it over from somebody. You know what I'm talking about? Peace, brother Darian. So, you have that, and he's like I say, Francis Galton, was born in 1822, died in 1911. He's he's not the only one. You know what I'm talking about? Then, you have another one, Benet, who came up with testing, and then you have I want to say there's Benet. Benet should have came up with, I want to say, the IQ testing, but it could be um Alfred. I want to say Alfred. Dang. Now I'm forgetting his name. I have so many notes. But yeah. So, and what IQ is just intelligence quotient, you know. And then like I said, it's a lot. So, and then there's that, but then you also have like the Stanford Binet testing, which sort of still use. Like I said, these testings, get revised, and then they go into their own additions, which was very interesting for me, like that's how they get revised. I was like the Stanford Binet is like what, in its 5th edition, I believe. You know what I'm talking about? But you see that in 3%, how they use physiognomy, especially like when you see like the first test in the interview testing, as you see them, interviewing them and asking them questions and things like that, you see them using physiognomy and dots on their face to see, how they dealing with things and what they're passing on. You see resiliency and some of it was in Portuguese. What was the other one? I know resilience was one. Seduction. Yeah. I read a little. So, because Marco, he had seduction, right? Because he was in his um interview test, he was more of a smoozer, he was smiling, and a little bit more confident, but then you had people, that were just talking and things, and then they get eliminated, and then they'll just lose their mind. Like, what did I do wrong? What did I did I answer this? And then they just start begging. One thing that you see with 3% is that it's a lot. You have, this minute population that basically controls, technology and resources from 97%, but they don't give, those resources to the 97% only unless they become part of 3%, And what's interesting about the the testing is that once somebody lose, like I said, they just lose their mind. Like one guy, he doesn't want to go back, inland. He kills himself, like you said, they don't know how to pivot in that sense, like everything is counting on, this one test. You only get one shot because opportunity was, you better lose just okay. So you have that, but once at least in this first test, I'm talking about when some people lose, or they're eliminated, they lose their mind. But then you have, have the interviewer saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll send you, techniques to deal with, deal with the elimination." you know, uh, yeah, like Ezekiel says, you create your own method, merit, right? And all that matters is merit, and basically it's also what they call, the founding couple. The founding couple, that's what they believe. They also believe that everyone makes their own merit. That's the only thing that matters. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Master Mendela says, to me, earth tones were more related to somatic ambition. Red show why those in red have more emotional leaning. Also found it interesting that Raphael and Agatha were the only ones in blue. Right. Well, and Mania says, the guy that jumped when he got eliminated, and the way they told the rest of the candidates to carry on as usual, because it's the most important day of their lives. Exactly. Here, you basically live in poverty, and then you have this blood test that could change your whole life, apparently. You know what I'm saying? But then it's very interesting because it seems like no one questions, or has the mental reason to say, why are we impoverished? Sometimes I was watching this, I was like, well, why didn't nobody make no boats? It's sort of, if you if certain things, you'd be like, well, for human beings to stay in this one place where it didn't seem like they had abundance of resources and not migrate nowhere else, just relying on this whole 3%, and nobody ever thought about, hey, yo, we gonna get some boats. We gonna make some boats, and we just go for everything they got. That's what my mom was always going. Like, ain't nobody gonna rob. We ain't gonna do the pirate thing. We ain't gonna do none of that. Like, for real. But yeah, M&S. Oh, Chief say, what's cool about the test is it adapts to the interviewer's observation. Like when they knew to cue in Michelle and her necklace. Yes, exactly. And what Chief's talking about is, Michelle Lee was wearing this necklace, and she said she got it from her boyfriend, but it was actually from her brother, right? And he was like, oh, so, and she says it's a souvenir. It's a souvenir, so you can't take it off. So you go away, he's literally telling her, you can do away with that. Why are you still wearing it? Um, because outside of that area, there is desert. I saw every 6 hours. They can make their way out of there and do. Yeah. I know. I did too, G, but I was like, but still what? And it was like, okay, there's a desert here, but ain't nobody ever tried to find out how far the desert go. It's like the things that makes human beings, like we ain't gonna find out how far, how far does the desert go? What's beyond this desert? What's beyond it? Things that actually, uh make the human being want, a human want to explore and invent. That was one thing about 3%. Even though somebody may have got eliminated, they never took the test to be inventive or anything else, creative, but one thing about the colors was, you had, Michelle in red, and then you had, Fernando. He was in yellow, which sort of um fit him to a T, because he was always, positive. He was always happy. You know what I'm saying? That each color, pretty much had a streak. And you saw Marco. Marco always pretty much had a smile on his dang on face. You know what I'm talking about? And you had, Raphael, he was in blue. In some instances, even though Raphael is how he was also the calming of everything, in a sense, Um Yeah, like they did the tests with limited food. Seemed cool too. Called out exactly. So one another test that they did was, like the 9 cube test, which basically, tests your motor skills. But then in that test, you also see, like Marco steals somebody else's, cube, because you're supposed to have 9 cubes. And then you have, like, you know um Joanna, she's so dang Joanna, but Joanna, she's so dang smart. this this girl had 11 cubes, and Fernando, you know, he was able, to help Michelle create 9 cubes out of 8, by making a whole big cube, by bending, basically, I guess you could say, the rule or whatever. Um, Chief also says, the show really depicts the economic disparities in Brazil, even colorism. Look how Joanna is the most aggressive character, and the other darker brother, Fernando, is in a wheelchair. I'm gonna say Chief, I know. But yes, like Joanna's the most aggressive. John's the most aggressive. Fernando's in the wheelchair, and he's just all in love. another, another thing that Bob, like when they do the sterilization, I was like, oh, so the black guy got, the black man got to go first, but everybody else doing her. The homie that looked like homie from well, he played in he got gay. He played in homie what was the other show? Oh, he played in Drumline. he looked a little bit like he resembled him, right? But he was like, man, so the black man got to go first for all y'all go for sterilization, because I found that very interesting. Sister Mina says, the necklace is a symbol of authority. Even if she says it's a souvenir. I think in season 3 they placed the necklace at the center of the table. They formed a council with indicated shared authority. Right. Yep. What's the tell her exactly? That was tell her, but you already know. Right. They depict her throughout the series as like a feral animal. Wow. Well, while the other females stay clean and gentle despite their situation. Exactly. Exactly. Joanna's always, oh man. She's the wild one, what I'm saying? She's always depicted as the wild one. But she's the most survival. She's the survivor. What I'm saying? She has the most survival traits out of everybody, and she's the most creative survivor out of everybody. Um Like she could do no wrong. Michael was more physically imposing. Yeah, Marco was more physical imposing, but the guy that was to me, like when since we were on the first test, and you saw Raphael they go into the lunchroom and they eating right, and Raphael tells this big speech, and then he goes up to the other melody rich guy, the tall muscle bound one. He's like, right, my dude, and he's like, yo, get your hand off me, and then he puts his hand on him, and then that dude just I thought he was the most physical imposing guy, not Marco, But what it's like when as time progressed, you see he's like the goon of Marco because Marco's the leader. Why he got to be a leader? He's the most, you know. But yeah, they stumped Raphael out, man. That was funny, Bull fight with the biggest dude in the prison. Yes, he did. And got jumped by everybody. Like, what was that? uh, and then here comes Joanna. You picked that fight. You want everybody against you. But you have that, but then you have another test. Like we see that like it was like sort of depicted that Michelle could do no wrong, and we can't say she's a well I was gonna say it's like uh okay, Scarlett O'Hara. She like Scarlett. She's like Scarlett O'Hara. Can't do no wrong, but she does all the wrong. And what role she does, she grew up with another girl named Bruna, right? And um, yeah, yeah, because Marco is undercover prepper. He has a secret. Yes, Marco is undercover preppy. You know what I'm saying? He called him preppy. But Michelle and Bruna, they get taken, and one of them is in the calls, apparently. And Bruna, she's not in the calls. Michelle is, right? But she's sneaky on her friend where she's like, okay, this is what we gonna do. We're gonna go for her gun. I'm gonna give you the signal. When I give you the signal, you jump at. So she gives Bruna the signal, and Bruna gets shot while she stays alive, making Bruna the guilty one. But yeah, but Michelle is shiesty. you know. Um, that ain't the only inside out process for Marco. Yes, she's the equivalent of a Southern Belle. Like it. That's why she is. You think about it, she could do no wrong, but she did all the wrong. And Fernando. Like Fernando was my favorite character, but I was like, Fernando, why are you sipping out on Michelle? Like, like let that be go. But and you have that. So Michelle is the one to be watched. Yes, Scarlett O'Hara was a master. Yeah, Michelle was a master manipulator. She did manipulate. And you see that, going on in season one, how she manipulates things, and so we have a physical evaluation. Mind you, like I say, you see physical evaluations in real life as well. At least for me, when one standard of physical testing that is always used, and is in the military. Um, that's been used since World War One. You know what I'm talking about? They also at that time used the BNA test, as their standard, during World War One, and it evolved, for some of us that had to take so many dang old tests, you know, and it sort of didn't amount to nothing, you know. Oh, I got this score, like, oh, well, according to what we have available, you got these options. But I got this score. I got a high score. That none of that matters. Yeah, Scholar was working the blade. Still Red Brother had to set it straight. Oh man, that is another movie. But Chief, oh man, I used to love Red knew what he had. He knew what he had. And I used to love that about him. He just look at her and be like, I know what you is, and I'm gonna work. Never in all my life have I've seen you have a handkerchief. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Clark Gable had some good lines in that dang movie, as well as Hyde McDaniels. But anyway, right? So you have the physical testing, and Fernando gets taken away, but he finds out, with 30% technology, they could, make him walk again. You know what I'm talking about? But one thing you see when it comes to him, you see, I would say, inflammation of his skin and in his lower back and things like that. But once you see them, sticking with the needle and puts, uh, serum in his spine, you would say. Now he's able to temporarily feel in his legs. Shelly is definitely to be rushed. Remember, there's a mode in the group of this. Exactly. There's a mode. Well, there's more than one mode in the group, because one of them, because they work, they're spies for the cause, and the cause is, basically the revolution. You can't even call it a revolutionary movement, but there are movements um that goes against the process and offshore, but they send people, to basically be their spies and rat out, while they working offshore. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, Michelle ain't to be trusted at all. But then you have you see, one thing you see, Ezekiel, helping out his wife's child that ain't his, you know. And you sometimes see, when it comes to Julia, because that's her name, you always see Eleni. I always mention Julia like a trigger, you know what I'm saying, to set him off, what I'm saying, just see how he responds to that, what I'm talking about. But one test you see is what I call the investigative test that went from basically deduction to induction, where you're basically working as an individual. Now you got to work as a group, and everybody gave, that they basically detective skills, Fernando felt kind of bad because he thought he had it. It was like, oh, that person's cheating with that one. It's like when you play Clue and you say, Colonel Mustard or Miss Scarlet, in the library with the revolver, and somebody, said, nah, that ain't it. It's basically Clue, but real life Clue in a sense, Um, but then, one test you also have, because one thing I would say that the detective uh, test or the investigative test did, it made people observe hidden clues that nobody paid attention to. You know, so you had to use your eyes and investigate around. You know what I'm talking about? Um, in the shades of brown and tans, of course, depict the inland supposed lack of fertility. Yep, but upon entering the shell, um, the color palette, yeah, that testing it came down to subtle details. Exactly. It was subtle details, and you really have to, and like I say, investigate, and really pay attention, for that. Like I say, Fernando thought he had that test. It's like, oh, I got it. And it was like, good job, Fernando. You be like, no, 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 no. And then you have to deal with dissenting views and things, and then see who is right. And then when they finally give their final answer, and then basically, the camera's on Fernando. Fernando don't want to give up, but at the same time, he know that they're right and he relents. You know what I'm talking about? But then you also have the elimination test, right? And basically, in that test, you have to, still in the group, pick who's supposed to be eliminated, right? Of course, there was an issue, because Raphael was like he's gonna single out Fernando because he's in a wheelchair. You know, Chief says at 20, a group gets tested and only 3% get into paradise. When you think about that college graduation age, how many go on to live out of a bachelorette who are employed? Exactly. Another thing that I thought of, especially with the testing, ACT, SAT, like, like you, like you cram, like you cram, maybe that whole summer. You cram that whole summer for this dang old test. You take it depends. We had ACT, but I guess like the West probably had SAT. But you prep for it, and they say, "Oh, you don't get the number you expected. You did all of that for what? just to get a certain number so you can get into a prestigious school and." Baby, I'm just hey, I'll be the first one to tell you, my ACT score was probably bad. I was shooting up for 20 because um I wanted to go to Big Ten schools. You know what I'm talking about? I thought, and um I also wanted to shoot up to the 20s because I was um basically invited or suggested, that I could get into Princeton. I wouldn't shoot down. I'm like, Princeton? Yeah, go ahead, try out. Like, no pressure. Huh? But yeah, you can go with graduating like from those schools, you know what I'm saying? And then just not only with bachelorettes, just think about department. You know what I'm saying? How many, depending on what the school, department you were in, man, you know what I'm talking about? And forget everything you studied in less than an hour after the test. It just, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But with the elimination test, they decided to do it by so-called chance, with basically Agatha's shawl rag, whatever, and you see Joanna. Joanna, she gets she gets the short end of the stick, right? But you know Joanna. Joanna, she's a survivor. She a go getter. You know what I'm talking about? School injury. And you know, one of the homies was like, "Hey, uh, sorry, but we got to go on without you." But who had the coin? Joanna. Joanna had the coin. And I just found that scene funny but hey, she she from the streets. You know what I'm talking about? So many make that AC only to fall measurably at life itself. Man, oh man, I remember a girl, like a little hippie girl. That tells you what she was. A little hippie girl that I used to work with. And she got into a prestigious Illinois school. Prestigious. And that girl bombed her freshman year. She didn't pay attention. She didn't do nothing. It made her mother, who was at that time my boss, uh mad because she paid all that money and she just she I don't know what happened to her after that. Oh well. But yeah, he did get. Well, I don't know about like us. One thing about Joanna, she knew what she wanted, man. Joanna knew. Hey, did he get it? Was that a consolation prize or was that a party gift? You know what I'm saying? Because who got fleeced at the end of it? You know what I'm talking about? um, Joanna, Joanne, was the secret intellect who hid it. You consider she made it into the process after killing Gerson's son. Yeah, she was constantly scheming and secretly was the only one of them from royal blood. For sure, for sure. You know, um, um, you find that out if you read if you see the whole series. But yeah, that's a story many people superstar until they get true and plus. Yeah, hey. But, well, but she's one of those confused peoples. We'll just say it like that. That can't, that don't know how to pick. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm talking about. But you have that, and then you see, Alini, she's basically watching, Ezekiel and just looking for, and she finds something on him, always entering, the inland city and whatever. But then what's interesting is Fernando's story. Like Fernando's the son of a preacher, and the religion is not Catholicism, and it ain't Orishas or Orishas. It ain't that. It's not condom blade. It's the process, you know what I'm saying? And the founding couple, they got the process, got their own religion, you know what I'm talking about? And his father's the pastor, you know what I'm talking about? Can you call him Reverend Pro Child? Oh, in a sense, I guess. But he ain't getting rich off of it. You know what I'm saying? He po too, just like everybody else. you know. But he grows up like that. And one thing, his father told him was, don't worry about, being in the wheelchair, you know what I'm saying? Because this is your secret weapon. You know what I'm talking about? Which was interesting. Because he's the only, yeah, yeah, he's the only paternal figure in that. Yeah. Hmm. Yep. He sure is. Poor righteous teacher. Yeah. You just sit. I don't know. Yeah, but was that righteous? You know, because people would actually be praying, to this process and to the founding couple, and they were mere mortals, and everybody knew they were mere mortals. They weren't guys, just been 100 years, but yeah, but interesting concept though. And so, you have that, and then we see, Joanna, like Joanna go get it. You know what I'm saying? She goes and get it, but yeah, she sort of is depicted like the animal, and we see her in her issue with Gerson and killing Gerson's son, even if it's on accident. She was just trying to get her stuff back, but hey, she went into the house, found that gun, and killed him, right? But then you have, basically the tunnel test, which uses, hallucinatory gas, of everybody's fears. For that path, all that aggression and masculinity that they made her to overshadow the men in the film. What would she like? Huh? Explain the question. So, um, everybody sees what they're fear of, or the secret that they're hiding. But all they gotta do is just make it past the tunnel, which is, crazy. Now, Agatha, um, she makes it out the tunnel, but the hallucinatory gas just makes her like PTSD out, like for real, and she never recovers, in a sense. And then you got Michelle and Fernando all starting their relationship, and for what I don't but you also see how Joanna got she was unregistered because she was an orphan, but then she knew somebody that can get her an implant for free. um what else was she like? uh well is the woman queen king. Yes, for sure, for sure. Yes, she did. So you had that. Um, but then you see like in 4, how they're now in. It's like a storage facility. They're living in a storage facility, right? And this is where Marco, basically comes into the leadership position, because they're locked in the storage facility. And then you see 10101, zeros and ones, people like, oh, Matrix. But, it's basically code in a sense, And so Marco figures it out, and he, gathers everybody together, tell them what they need to do. They, for every liver, for every one, put the liver up or put it down, you know what I'm saying? Depending on 1 or 0. And so he gathers, you see organization for the first time, sort of more, I would say, in a sense, a communal organization where you gather up everybody what they're good at, all the people with good memory, all the people that are strong, things like that, right? And so they all come together, and then as they, crack the code, then they get like 1 pack of food, and so then they, basically do maybe a fair, or probably a democratic type thing, and says, okay, we're going to, everybody can get a food pack by alphabetical order, so everybody got to wait, for, the code to change so they can get a pack of food. You know what I'm saying? But then, like Master Mandela says, when Ezekiel, he calls an audible and just dumps all the food packs, and then you see basically Lord of the Flies. They gonna have a Lord of the Flies moment. You know what I'm talking about? Cause when they killed Sonya, man. Anyway, when Sawyer was a dissenting voice in the sense, she was like, man, let's stop. Here we are, doing all this work, you know what I'm saying, and we just getting, 1 pack of food. So, but then, when they dump all the food, then you see the wolves come out, and then you see sort of survivability come into play, as well as vandalism. You know what I'm saying, in a sense, because Marco starts to lead, some of the men to steal food, sweet Sonya. Yes. Anyway, but that's me. You can't be doing that. But anyway, so they robbing everybody for their food. You know what I'm saying? Said, like the first time they did it, hey, we're working on opening the door so we can get out of here. And, homie like, man, F you, Marco. But what? Marco hems him up, and then they give him his food. Now, I was like, how he hemming you up? And it's like, you ain't going to like gouge out his eyes, something, Ain't nobody trying to help him, none, but it is what it is. But they kept on stealing people food. So Michelle, peeps that out, And at first, Raphael's with him, but he's feeling conflicted because of what's happening. You know what I'm talking about? Like when they kill Sonya, even Agatha dies, Maybe she just dies from exhaustion in the gas. It's not really said. She just died, you know what I'm talking about? But you have that, and you see, what's going on, the chaos, you know what I'm saying? And then you have, Ezekiel is like, the world isn't fair, you have people that think if we do this, everything be fair. Well, the world isn't fair. He said something like that. And then you have, Raphael. He descends so much from Marco and them. He has to run because he don't want to be a part of them no more. So he goes to where Michelle and Fernando and them is, and their team is, because they done fortified themselves in. They made fortifications, and he's trying to get in. And at first they ain't gonna let him in. But then it's like, okay, I know your secret, Michelle. And then she lets him in, Crack that poor girl head. What, man? If Fernando was gonna protect somebody should have protected Sonya. Somebody should have. I'm standing on that. Somebody should have protected Sonya. Like, hey, yo, Marco, cut this. crack, look, crack the shellings. Head wide open, bust her head to the wild beat. But that's all you stay. You know, we need food because we work. It's like you need to do a certain thing. Yeah, go for your own safety. So you have that, and then um, you see Joanna. I say Joanna. She crawls up basically well the air conditioner, you know, the air compartment, and meets Ezekiel, you know, and Ezekiel, says if you stop all of this, you know what I'm saying. At first, he's like, "Well, we passed the test." He's like, "Yeah, y'all passed the test, but it's too many of y'all. Too many has passed the test. So now I have to, call an audible so we can get more people to fail. But if you can stop, this chaos that's happening, you know what I'm saying, then you'll get one step further." And so Joanna leaves the ambush, and Marco gets hemmed and messed up. They beat the mess out of him. And the doors open up and everybody leaves, and then Marco's just crawling because remember, Marco feels like he's superior to everybody. I'm an Alvarez. All my family members have always passed everything, and look, he like I say he like you say he preppy. What I'm saying, he prepping, but he prepping, right? Got his own. See, colorism. Got his own maid. You already know what she looked like. She plays in some good TV shows. But got his own maid. With this plot and now time and society. Yes. See, he got his own maid. Got pictures on the wall. They're framed. But you live in a you live in a dilapidated house. but he's always been told that because he's an Alvarez, he's the best of the best. We always pass. And people ask him, Marco, so I hear you're an Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? He bring, I'm an Alvarez, it's about hierarchy, who rules and everything. So you see, even like you say, time, society. There's people that think, that their genes are, or race, are better than everybody, because they are that race or because they come from this family. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. You see that, you know what I'm saying? But, what else about them? Oh, well, I ain't gonna tell if you didn't see the whole thing because I was gonna what happens to some of the Alvarezes, but yeah. So he takes that gene, I would say that gene superiority. See, it's a form of eugenics in a sense at gene superiority, and thinks that he can pass anything. And then what happens? This mandate is not only for your safety, or the safety of those around you, so much so that we will strong arm you to protect you, inspire yourself. Mm-hmm. 1 second. Okay. So he ends up getting his legs crushed, because of it, because he ain't gonna stop trying, right? And so that, and then you have after that you have we find out that Raphael's real name is Thiago, or the way it's spelled is Diago. But I've always heard to say Jago. you know, it is what it is. So, um, just like another a good book, where you have Iago, they just have Diago, but from Othello, Iago from Othello, same thing, you know. Um, so you got Aleni, she finds out about Agosto or August, and then you see the story of what happens to Julia, how she kills herself. She descends because you could say her motherly instincts kicks in. She misses her son, what I'm saying? And how, man, this also um she finds out about her son doing like a sort of, you want to say, a police raid. That's what I'm like, man. This has Brazilian toes like a bug. Because I'm like, oh, Bope. Those that don't know, Bope is like SWAT, but worse in a sense. But yeah. So they do this raid, killing innocent, and that's the person that's taking care of her kid, and she just descends into a low point, where she just can't stop, trying to find out what happened to her kid, what I'm saying, or her son, what I'm talking about. The constant focus on the process reminds me general education curriculum, which haven't changed this process exactly, because like I say, during all of this, it's all about the product. Even though we're talking about the process is really the the all about the end product of the 3%. You know what I'm talking about? But you see that, and she kills herself. But what happens? Um, Ezekiel, he ends up, caring for the child. You know what I'm saying? But what they was they were like, when he first meets the kid, said, oh, your mother, wants you to know how much she misses you. That kid's like, that's a lie. Like, what, 4? He said, that's a lie. And he says, go away. That kid was telling the truth. My mama didn't care about it. But I found that interesting. Parallels. Support. Yeah, for me, it was more the testing. At least for season 1, it was like the testing, and the hoarding of resources, from the minority to the majority, especially how the process is still you could say an education and a re-education process as well, because you're conforming a person to what you want them to be. You know what I'm talking about? Even though you have certain things already sort of in place for that, like the process religion and things like that. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. So the next test, what I'm talking about, everybody meets their family, right? And they got a choice. They can continue with the process, or they could take this money, which is a bunch of change, coins, See, all you gotta do is throw a little change, bowling, Boondocks, for those that don't know. Grandpa, what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do a big. He went on to do a big, do a big trip. Granddad, did you do a big? Oh yeah, I did a big, But yeah, and so everybody, meets their family. Like Fernando meets his dad, and his dad's like, I'm not taking that money. You going on, you going on with the process, and Fernando's like, Dad, this can get us a new house, you know, or fix it up, we can be rich, what I'm saying? He's like, no, you're going on, through this process, like you sort of see the father's love of what the son to succeed, and Fernando's like, no, this is what you want for me, which that is, you could say Fernando's, I don't want to say red flag, but a marker, when he's asked about his father in the sense he doesn't give much detail. You know what I'm talking about? And then you have Raphael. He meets his mother, who's prego. I don't even want it. But she's prego. And she's coming because she's like, well, betrayed your brother, by taking, his identification chip and putting it in your ear, joggle. And she's like, well, how would you like if I snitched on you? But she doesn't snitch. You know what I'm talking about. Joanna meets her father, who tries to sort of kill her, and but says, basically an informant from Gerson, saying you can either, basically give me this money or I can turn you in. But she rebels and find out that person really works for Ezekiel, and you pass. And not only did she pass that test, basically she passed her individual test at the same dang on time, so she's through. You know what I'm talking about? Then everybody, the parents leave. You know what I'm saying? Fernando. Oh man. Fernando, he gets with Michelle and falls in love after, it's just like, why? after he gets I love you, Michelle. I don't care. I don't have nobody else, but you. He becomes Key Sweat in a minute, bro. Oh man, Fernando, bro. Because Fernando's like the realist in a sense, but he just can't get out. It is what it is, but yeah, So everybody goes through their individual testing. Like Fernando has to create one process test, and he does it. You know what I'm talking about. Michelle's individual test is she has to convince Bruno's parents. Well, she got to tell them that Bruno died and lie, and then she's got to make her parents sign up Bruno's little sister. You know what I'm saying? So she gives, Oscar winning performance, lying to them, but they relent, and they do it. You know what I'm saying? Believing in the process, and whatnot. Raphael tells, Fernando that Michelle is part of the cause, and he is too. So Fernando helps him with his individual testing. You know what I'm saying? Then you have the candidate dinner where Michelle is trying to kill Ezekiel, but by basically putting poison in the drink, and she fails. Another a tester dies, But it seems like Fernando seemed like he needed that discharge secret weapon speech to help with self-esteem, but didn't want to move to the next level of standing up like he is the chair. Exactly. That was one thing about you see, he's like, he knows that he can walk, or if he passes the test, he can walk again. But he's like, no, I've made this thing everything. That's his crutch. Well, his wheelchair, but his crutch. I made, I fashioned my whole personality around this chair, and now they tell me I can walk. He's so stuck on that, or anchored to it. He's like anchored to this chair. He doesn't want to leave it, so he's willing to quit the process in order to um stay basically who he is in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Or stay tethered to the chair, which you see people do that in their real lives. It doesn't have to be a chair, you know what I'm saying? It could be their job, or anything like that. Now we all get shown the possibility of leveling up, by identifying with other, too much to move on. Yeah, Mr. Money for sure, man. That's one thing that he does, you know what I'm saying? And he keeps on doing. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he complains that to Michelle, but poor Fernando, he didn't have no game. At least make the chair your throne. I mean, he's not treating himself like a king, but it is what it is. Um, but interesting, the wheelchair actually sort of is like the seat of his power in a sense as seasons go by. But it is what it is. But because of that issue, Alini is pinned as the culprit. You know what I'm talking about? But then you have like the final season. Well, not the final season, but episode 8. And we see, Fernando, he's so in love. He's looking for Michelle and simping out on her. Hey, Fernando. He's simping out on her. And he quits. He quits for love. For love. I love Michelle. God knows I do. Anyway, but he quits. While Michelle is being tortured because they find out that she's part of the cause anyway. And then Michelle is like, tells Lisa, well, she's here because you killed her brother. But then he's like, no, I didn't. Your brother's alive. Matter of fact, he's with his girl. And he's like, man, you can pass this. All you need to do is tell me, where your handle is, or the old man. You know what I'm talking about? Because Ezek Quell used to be part of the cause as well. But he gave up on that a long time ago. It's more important than food, more important. What? Yeah, bro. I'm like, there were, because at least, okay, the chick that's giving him the test, at least get that chick. She was dumped it, but he falling after and it's like, bruh, it is what it is. How you gonna give if you stuck in that shit? I don't know, but apparently, hey, homies get it. So can refer to him as her brother. Mm-hmm. Well, it's like, but he messed up his opportunity. You know what I'm talking about? So, the final, basically, part of the process is, purification, but purification is sterilization. Where it basically, what the founding couple apparently came to a realization that hereditary, or family lineage and things like that. That's what causes people to be poor and causes all these problems in the world. It's having children. So, like I said, eugenics. So, we're going to sterilize everybody. You're the new children. Get it? You 20-year-olds, And then all of it, that and children don't matter. Merit does. that's that's the that's what he says. All of this is based on merit. Don't worry about your who your mother or your father is, because some of them don't even know. Yeah, because he's he was an orphan, so none of that matters. You know what I'm saying? None of that matters. All that matters is merit. That's the trick. You which shows how the inland is also the resource of basically people. How they have these children, and basically give them over to the 3%ers, which you can equate in your real life with giving your children over to the state, with education. Bam. Or when child labor, give your kids over to work, big factories and things like that. Giving your children over to things like TikTok, it's Snapchat, Instagram, and becoming influencers and things like that. They own a child. Exactly. So yeah, and so that bothers Raphael, because Raphael, he talks about just having kids. That's all one of his big things. But like I say, once everybody's contemplating on sterilization, who goes first? The black guy, the black man, the black male right there with the bald head. So yeah, you got bald head, and he just says, "F it," I'm going first. And once he goes first, everybody else starts to do it. Merit in a low key pitch for sterilizing your local favela. Exactly. What I'm talking about. You gotta, like I say, because this does look like a favela. No lie. But when you think about the favela, well, or any poor or impoverished area, one thing you sort of you don't really get any creativity. Like, what did they really come up with? Usually is that it wasn't a lot of creativity. Yeah, we saw graffiti and everything, but I mean, there was not like no real creativity. Like something that really just popped. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like we're gonna take your kids and their creative thinking, what I'm saying, and bring them over to our culture, so they can further our agenda. Which that's basically what the 3% is. Taking your children and finding somebody else's agenda, just like a job. Yeah, that too. I think I told you it was a lot. So like I said, Michelle snitches on, the cause, and Joanna, only way she's going to be able to get in is if she kill Gerson, but she doesn't kill him. You know what I'm talking about? And that's when Joanna, she basically says pretty much the same words as Julia did to Ezekiel. Like, you can't change everybody's minds. You can't control everybody's mind. You know what I'm saying? In that sense. And you're the real trash. He says it, you know. And she, like I say, she quits and leaves, you know, and you know, Fernando, he just at the gates waiting on Michelle. When they open up, who comes out? Joan. He wait, you know. He's like, and when he sees her, you see Michelle? Like, yeah, she's one of them now. No, I'm gonna wait out here for Michelle. He's like, now let's go. you know. So once that ends, basically the process closes, and and everybody's getting ready to go offshore, but you can see the toll that it has on Ezekiel, and Alini, she's arrested. I'm talking about. She made his jawline tight repeating those words. Exactly, him and I, like, it's from beyond the grave. What I'm saying? Saying the same thing verbatim. What I'm talking about. And she laughing at him. Got this black woman laughing at me, this animal, you trash. And she laughed right in his face. Another cool part was one thing I liked about this, liked about at least season one. Fernando and Joanna, they walking off into the sunset, just laughing all the way down back to the inland, man. I thought that was the coolest thing. Like, look at black people just walking off into the sunset. That's something you don't see. Just laughing, like, we having fun. Like, oh, life is grand. That type of laugh, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But everybody goes, and then you finally see that offshore with many lights, coming from the sea. You know what I'm talking about. But that's the end of season one. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, it gets more deeper in season two. Michelle comes back into Fernando's life. You get more, more in depth about the founding couple, which is founding trio. And who's in the middle? And who's he? Oh, bro. Anyway, and then you have the shell, and then you have offshore, and Fernando. Just, man, when they killed off his character, I was like, Fernando, that was my homie. But you get other people, new characters, like a new process begins, and you got them, and they help out and things like that, But yeah, man, it, like I say, as you watch, because it's like what, 4 seasons, but I think as it drags on, then you just like, what's the point again? It sort of loses value, as people get killed off. In a sense, having on side when they were going to the process was there, laughing when they came back. Exactly. You gotta have your wino. Luckily, she wasn't wino we used to. But yes, she was there when they were there. She was there when they came back. In her many colors. Sitting like little Miss Moffat, eating her curves and whey. Gee, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man. That's trace, well, 3%, trace percent. and man, oh man, when this thing came out, I loved it. But join us next show. When I won't be here. I'm going back on break. But the I New Moon are coming out. I can't remember which what's the movie they're doing next strong. I just know they're doing one of my favorite ones, which is the Kama Sutra Tell of Love. I can't wait for that one when that one shows up. Because I got requests, but usually they the one asking for requests. Now they showing up. Now I want to be like, man, I got some requests, I want to put in I want to put in for a request. I got like 2, 3, but they doing the whole month of August. I'm talking about, yes, Sister Yape, I know you're going to come with it, I'm talking about. And we got, Emily Kira Eden, I'm talking about. She going to give her greetings, and get all sussy, what I'm talking about. Yes, I can't wait for that. So they're up next, what I'm talking about. But from season 1, Offshore is portrayed like a re-entry into Eden, but like a reverse process. Exactly. Be fruitful and multiply. Nah, be truthful and sterilize my guy. Exactly. It's like that. It's like an Eden. You know what I'm saying? And the founding couple was like Adam and Eve. And the chick they killed is like Lilith. Was like for real. And it's the reverse, what I'm saying? Lilith's the actual one that cares about the inland. Why Adam and Eve like, F those people. And we'll kill you too. But yeah. So yeah. Be on the lookout for the movie review that they do next strong, because I don't have the schedule anymore. So I just know they do a few. But yeah. So all this month, I New Moon, what I'm talking about. So then we got, of course, we got Clubhouse, we got Shema. But yeah, man, I just can't wait. Can y'all keep this keep this going. Like I said, I got some requests. There's this movie I really want y'all to do. That also deals with them girls, but I feel like it would be better received if a woman did it. You know what I'm talking about? But you already had me at, Kama Sutra Tell Love, but I got a few requests, See, y'all do me that like that. I got some requests, I want to put it in. So but yeah, I can't wait for that. Like Emma Yakira Eaton's. I'm so excited. I'm excited. Maybe I look like it, but I'm excited, Especially when the Kama Sutra it comes up, Since I was Team Tyra all day when I was a kid, man. When that movie came out. But that's because that girl played the Mississippi Masala. Girl, you got a sweet Lord. What that man say about her mama? Because he sung it with a dang on harmonica too. But man, oh yeah, I'm just remembering this. That's another good movie, Mississippi Masala. Deals with actually story. Deals with the Indian, you could say leaving of Uganda. When Idi Amin was running things. What I'm talking about. Get that all the Indians. Get out the Indians. But that's that's his, that deals with a little bit of history, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Mississippi masala. And it deals with one of my favorite places to go. It's Mississippi, and she's Mississippi masala. But yeah, so that's what's going on there, strong. So be on the lookout for that. You know what I'm talking about? So give thanks everybody, and I will see y'all. Well, no, I will not see y'all that strong. Oh, okay. The lineup, thank you, is Maleficent. Um, the first one, which Maleficent is good. It got Angelina Jolie in it, you know. And then there's the Kama Sutra. Then there's Noah, and then Maleficent 2, and then Moonfall. Okay. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I can put in my request. Okay, I'm putting in my request. Oh, I'm showed up putting in my request. Yeah, thank you, sister. Yes, y'all. Thanks for telling me that. I am putting in my request because I want. Yeah, I'm gonna send that through the proper channels. I get to make some requests. I got a request. So yes, thank you for telling me that. For sure. So yeah, so look, we doing Maleficent. It's Disney. It's Disney movie. One of Disney's real life ones. Where they give a new spinoff on villains. Well, that was pretty good. So yeah, I would like to name the child. Or give a blessing to the child. Yeah, that's what she says. And y'all taking questions. Hey, look, if they not, y'all put it in anyway. Because I ain't do the movies that I got requests for, and they more female oriented anyway. So yeah, it's better if a woman does. So I'm there, show putting in requests like, yo, do this movie. Yes, we get to finally break it down, because yeah, it don't sound right if I'm doing it, So yeah, after this, I'm gonna put in my request. So I'll give thanks everybody. So I will see y'all next strong. And well, no, see, I'm so used to it. Well, I will see y'all when I see y'all in September. Sometime in September. Sometime. Yeah, see, y'all can take requests because I got requests. See, y'all can do it. Y'all can at least do this for me, because I take your request, sister. I take your request. So I got requests. So give thanks, and I will see y'all sometime in the coming month. So peace.